Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Hour. I'm your host, Sophia, and today we're joined by the wonderful Jacob. Welcome back, Jacob.
Thanks, Sophia. It's always great to be here, chatting with you and our listeners.
Today's episode is all about personal growth, how we evolve as individuals, the challenges we face, and the power of self-reflection. Jacob, I know you've had a lot of experience with personal development. What do you think is the most important factor in growing as a person?
That's a great question, Sophia. For me, I think it's about being open to change. It's easy to stay in our comfort zones, but true growth comes when we step out and face the challenges that make us uncomfortable.
I totally agree. Change is uncomfortable, but it's also necessary for progress. But it can be difficult, right? How do you keep yourself motivated to push through those moments of uncertainty?
I think the key is to focus on the bigger picture. Even when things feel tough, remembering why I started and visualizing the person I want to become keeps me going. It's like taking small steps towards something much bigger than just today's challenges.
That's such a good point. It's so easy to get caught up in the here and now. But when you step back and look at the larger journey, it gives you perspective. But let's be real, sometimes the process can feel really slow, right?
Oh, absolutely. Sometimes it feels like you're putting in all this effort and not seeing immediate results. But that's where patience comes in. Growth takes time, and sometimes it's those small, seemingly insignificant actions that add up over time to make a huge difference.
I love that. Patience is a huge part of it, but I think it's also important to be kind to ourselves during that process. We tend to be our harshest critics, especially when things don't go as planned.
That's so true. We need to remember that setbacks are just part of the process. It doesn't mean we're failing, it means we're learning. Each setback teaches us something valuable.
Yes, and it's all about perspective. When we start seeing challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles, everything changes.
Exactly, it's all about mindset. Our thoughts have so much power over our actions. If we choose to view difficulties as chances to develop, they stop being roadblocks and start being stepping stones.
I think a lot of people struggle with that. It's so much easier to focus on the negative side of things. How do you shift your mindset when you feel stuck or discouraged?
For me, it helps to break things down. Instead of thinking about everything all at once, I focus on what I can do right now. What's the next step? Sometimes just taking that first step, no matter how small, can create momentum and change the entire direction.
That's brilliant. Breaking things down makes everything feel more manageable. It's also important to celebrate those small wins along the way, right? Recognizing progress, no matter how minor it seems, is crucial.
Absolutely. It's easy to overlook the small victories, but they're what keep you moving forward. Every little achievement is a building block for bigger successes.
So true. And sometimes, it's not even about the end goal, it's about the person you're becoming along the way. Growth isn't always measured by what you achieve, but by who you become in the process.
That's a powerful realization. When you start focusing on who you're becoming rather than just what you're accomplishing, you find deeper satisfaction in the journey itself.
Exactly. It's about aligning your actions with your values and becoming the best version of yourself, one step at a time.
And that version is always evolving. We're never truly done growing. There's always room to expand, to learn, and to become more authentic.
That's such a beautiful way to put it. Personal growth is a lifelong journey, not a destination. And embracing that idea is so freeing.
It really is. We don't need to have it all figured out right now. It's okay to still be growing, still be figuring things out. The important thing is to keep moving forward, no matter the pace.
I love that. Progress, not perfection. And as long as we keep moving forward with intention, we're on the right path.
Exactly. And sometimes the biggest growth comes from the moments we least expect, from those quiet moments when we reflect on our experiences.
Reflection is key, isn't it? Taking the time to look back and see how far we've come can be such a powerful tool for growth.
Definitely. It gives us perspective on how much we've overcome, and it reminds us that we're capable of more than we realize.
It's like taking a moment to appreciate how far we've come, even when we're not where we thought we'd be. It gives us the strength to keep going.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that everyone's journey is different. Just because someone else is ahead of you doesn't mean you're falling behind. Your path is uniquely yours.
Yes, and there's no one right way to grow. Everyone moves at their own pace, and that's perfectly okay.
Exactly. The goal is to grow in a way that's true to you, not in comparison to anyone else.
I think that's a great note to end on. Growth is a personal experience, and as long as we keep learning and evolving, we're on the right track.
Absolutely. And remember, it's okay to take it one step at a time. The journey is just as important as the destination.
Thanks for such a thoughtful conversation, Jacob. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
The pleasure is mine, Sophia. I love these deep dives into growth and reflection.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. We hope this conversation inspired you to embrace your personal growth journey. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection.
Keep going, keep growing, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this episode, so feel free to leave a comment. Take care, everyone. And before we go, Jacob, I just want to ask, what's one thing you've learned in your personal growth journey that you'd want our listeners to take away?
That's a great question, Sophia. I think the most important thing I've learned is to trust the process. There will be ups and downs, but if you stay consistent, even when it feels like nothing is happening, you'll see the growth eventually.
Trust the process, such a powerful reminder. Sometimes we get discouraged when things aren't moving as fast as we'd like, but your story shows that persistence is key.
Exactly. And it's also about being compassionate with yourself. Don't expect perfection every step of the way. Embrace the messiness, because that's where growth happens.
I love that. Perfection is overrated anyway. The real beauty lies in the imperfections, right?
Absolutely, it's the imperfections that shape us. They give us experiences that make us who we are today.
That's so true. And I think embracing our imperfections helps us be more authentic. When we let go of the pressure to be perfect, we allow ourselves to show up fully, without fear of judgment.
Yes, and when we're authentic, we connect more deeply with others. People can feel when you're being real, and that's what builds true, lasting relationships.
That's a beautiful point, Jacob. It's the authenticity that makes us relatable. When we embrace our true selves, we encourage others to do the same.
Exactly. And when we create a space where everyone feels comfortable being themselves, that's when we all start growing together.
Wow, what an amazing conversation. Thank you, Jacob, for sharing your wisdom with us today. I know our listeners will walk away with some valuable insights.
Thanks, Sophia. It's always a pleasure to have these deep talks. I hope our listeners feel inspired to embrace their own growth journey.
I'm sure they will. And to everyone listening, remember, growth is a process, and you're exactly where you need to be. Keep going at your own pace, and celebrate every step, big or small.
And don't forget, it's okay to have setbacks. Just keep moving forward. It's all part of the process.
That's right. Well, we're at the end of today's episode. Thank you all for tuning in. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So feel free to reach out and let us know how you're growing.
Stay kind to yourselves and keep progressing one step at a time.
See you in the next episode, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Take care and keep growing.
Bye for now. Before we wrap up, Jacob, one thing that often comes to mind in these kinds of conversations is how growth is not always linear. It's easy to think that once we start our journey, everything will just keep getting better. But sometimes we take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. What do you think about that?
That's a very real part of growth. People often get discouraged when they don't see continuous improvement. But the reality is that setbacks are part of the process. It's important to remember that a setback doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're learning.
Exactly. Sometimes we hit those moments where we feel stuck or like we've gone backwards. But those moments are what allow us to learn the most. They're opportunities to reassess, adjust, and come back stronger.
And I think it's important to be gentle with ourselves in those moments. If we're too hard on ourselves, it can create this negative cycle where we focus more on the setback than the lesson it has to offer.
That's so true. Self-compassion is key. You have to treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend who is struggling. Growth isn't about perfection, it's about progress, even if it's messy.
Absolutely. And progress looks different for everyone. For some, it might be a huge leap forward, while for others, it could be a tiny step. And that's okay, every step counts.
I love how you put that every step counts. And it's all about how we choose to view the journey. I think people often compare their journey to others and feel like they're not doing enough. But when you stop comparing, you start to appreciate your own unique path.
Yes, comparison is the thief of joy. If you're always measuring yourself against others, you'll never be content with your own progress. It's much healthier to focus on your own growth and celebrate your personal milestones.
Absolutely. And focusing on your own journey lets you celebrate the small wins that might seem insignificant to others but are monumental to you. That's what really matters, your individual growth and the effort you put into it.
I couldn't agree more. And sometimes, even when we don't feel like we've made much progress, looking back at where we started can show just how far we've come. That reflection is so valuable.
It really is. And that's something I think we don't do enough of, taking a moment to look back and appreciate how far we've come. It's easy to focus on what we still haven't done, but when we reflect on our journey, it reminds us that growth is happening all the time.
And sometimes you realize that the growth isn't just in the big achievements, but in the little ways you've changed along the way. Like learning to be more patient with yourself, or finding ways to handle stress better.
Exactly. It's those subtle shifts in mindset and behavior that often make the biggest difference. The ability to respond to challenges with a sense of calm, or to see setbacks as lessons instead of failures, that's growth, too.
That's such an important point. We often think of growth as only being tied to external achievements, but the internal growth, the way we manage ourselves and our emotions, is just as important.
And it's often that internal growth that sets the foundation for everything else. When we can handle our thoughts and emotions better, it opens up space for everything else to thrive, including our relationships, work, and personal goals.
Absolutely. Emotional intelligence and self-awareness are huge components of growth. They allow us to navigate life's challenges more effectively and create better connections with others.
That's true. And I think it's also important to surround ourselves with people who encourage that kind of growth, people who lift us up, challenge us, and inspire us to be better. Who would you say has influenced your personal growth the most, Jacob?
Honestly, I'd say a lot of it comes from the people around me, my friends, mentors, and even the books and podcasts I consume. But if I had to pick one person, I'd say it's my mom. She's always taught me to approach life with compassion, both for others and for myself. That mindset has been a huge part of my own growth.
That's beautiful. It sounds like she really instilled some powerful values in you. It's amazing how much influence the people closest to us can have on our personal development, even in ways they may not even realize.
It's so true. And those lessons stick with us even when we're faced with challenges. We remember the advice and wisdom from the people who have shaped us, and it helps us push through tough times.
It's incredible how the right support system can make all the difference. Whether it's family, friends, or mentors, the people who encourage us and believe in us during our lowest moments are the ones who help us rise again.
Exactly. And sometimes it's not just the big things they do, but the little moments of encouragement. A simple, "You've got this," can mean more than we realize in the heat of the moment.
Definitely, it's those small, thoughtful acts that can really shift our perspective. So, I think that's another important takeaway. Don't underestimate the power of supporting others and being there for them during their growth.
100%. You never know how much your words or actions might impact someone else's journey. Sometimes, a little bit of encouragement can be the spark they need to keep going.
Exactly. And I think we all have the ability to be that source of encouragement, whether for our friends, family, or even strangers. You just never know how your kindness could help someone keep moving forward.
And that kindness doesn't always have to be grand gestures. Sometimes, just being a listening ear or offering a word of support can make all the difference.
It really can. And speaking of support, I think this conversation has been such a powerful reminder that we're all in this together. Personal growth isn't a solo journey, it's something we experience as part of a larger community.
Absolutely. And that's something I think we should all keep in mind. While growth is personal, we don't have to do it alone. We have each other to lean on, share experiences with, and lift up when needed.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's a beautiful reminder that we're not in this alone. And every small step forward, whether it's yours or someone else's, matters.
And when we support each other, we make the whole journey just a little bit easier and a lot more meaningful.
So true. Well, I think we've covered so much today. But before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add, Jacob?
Just a reminder to everyone listening, keep growing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep being kind to yourself. Growth isn't a race, it's a journey, and you're exactly where you need to be.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks so much for being here today, Jacob. It's always such a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, Sophia. It's always great to chat with you.
And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you feel inspired to keep growing at your own pace. And remember, you're never alone on this journey.
Until next time, take care and keep moving forward.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. We'd love to hear your thoughts. So leave a comment and let us know what you think about today's episode.
Stay positive and keep growing. See you next time.
I just realized, Jacob, that we've talked about growth in so many different ways, but we haven't really touched on the concept of setbacks in personal growth. What do you think about how setbacks shape our journey?
That's an interesting point, Sophia. I think setbacks are actually one of the most important aspects of personal growth. While they might feel like obstacles at the time, they often teach us the most valuable lessons. You learn resilience when things don't go as planned.
That's so true. Sometimes we feel like setbacks are the end of the road, but really, they're more like detours that give us a new perspective. When things don't go the way we expect, it opens the door for growth in ways we never imagined.
Exactly, it's like when you're working on a puzzle and a piece just doesn't fit. Instead of getting frustrated, you take a step back and realize maybe you need to look at it from a different angle. The puzzle still gets completed. It just takes a little extra time and patience.
I love that analogy. Sometimes, when we're too focused on one way of doing things, a setback can give us that much needed pause to reassess. It's all part of the bigger picture, even if we don't see it right away.
And that's where the real growth happens, right? When you push through those setbacks and find a way to adapt, you start developing new skills and strengths that wouldn't have been possible if everything had gone smoothly.
Yes, it's those moments of struggle that shape our character. If everything were easy, we'd never really challenge ourselves. The struggle is what makes the success feel even sweeter.
Absolutely. And another thing I've noticed is that sometimes setbacks lead to unexpected opportunities. Maybe something you thought you wanted wasn't the right fit for you, and a setback actually opens up a new, better path.
That's such a great point. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that one particular outcome is the only way to go. But life often has a way of showing us other, sometimes better, possibilities. It's like a redirection that we didn't see coming.
And often, those redirections lead us to places we didn't know we needed. It's like life's way of guiding us toward what's best for us, even if it doesn't look like what we expected at first.
So true. Sometimes the hardest moments in our lives end up being the most transformative. We just have to trust that there's something better waiting on the other side of those struggles.
Exactly. And I think one of the keys to getting through setbacks is maintaining a positive mindset. It's about looking for the lesson in the challenge instead of just focusing on the difficulty itself.
That's a great mindset to have. Shifting our focus from the problem to the solution, and from the struggle to the growth, can completely change how we experience setbacks. It's about finding the opportunity in the obstacle.
Absolutely. And I think when we start seeing setbacks as opportunities for learning, it completely shifts our perspective on failure. Failure stops being something to avoid and starts becoming a natural part of the process.
Yes, failure isn't the end. It's a lesson, a stepping stone, or even just a redirection. When we embrace it that way, we can keep moving forward without being paralyzed by the fear of messing up.
And the more we embrace that mindset, the more resilient we become. We start to see ourselves as capable of handling anything that comes our way, because we know that setbacks don't define us.
That's powerful. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back from a setback. It's about growing stronger and more adaptable with every challenge we face.
Exactly. And resilience builds over time. Each time you overcome a challenge, you learn new tools to handle the next one. It's a cumulative process.
And it's comforting to remember that no one is immune to setbacks. Everyone experiences them, no matter how successful they are. It's not about avoiding the challenges, but about how we respond to them.
That's the key, isn't it? Our response. Life will always throw curveballs, but how we handle them defines our growth and our journey.
Right. And I think that's what makes human resilience so inspiring. We have the capacity to adapt, learn, and keep moving forward, no matter what life throws at us.
I completely agree. And for those listening, if you're facing a setback right now, just remember it's temporary. You're not stuck. You're growing. And each step forward, even if it feels small, is a step towards something better.
Such a beautiful reminder. And remember, it's okay to take breaks too. Sometimes, stepping back for a moment gives us the clarity we need to keep pushing forward.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between pushing through and knowing when to rest. Both are important parts of the journey.
And those breaks give us a chance to reflect on our progress. It's hard to see how far you've come when you're always in the thick of it. Taking a moment to step back helps you see just how much growth has happened.
So true. And when you look back and see how much you've learned, it gives you the strength to keep going, even when things get tough.
I think that's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, Jacob. It's been an incredible conversation, and I know our listeners are going to benefit from it.
Thanks for having me, Sophia. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, and I hope this discussion helps someone who's going through a tough time.
I'm sure it will. And thank you to everyone listening. We appreciate you joining us for today's episode. Keep moving forward, keep growing, and remember, setbacks are just stepping stones to something greater.
Take care, everyone, and keep going strong.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye for now. Stay resilient, everyone.
I'm really glad we're able to have these deep conversations, Jacob. There's something about talking about growth and setbacks that really connects with people. I think it's because everyone has faced some kind of challenge or obstacle in their lives.
Absolutely. We're all going through something at some point, whether it's big or small. And sometimes just knowing that other people are going through the same thing can make all the difference. It makes the journey feel less lonely.
That's such a great point. We often get stuck thinking we're the only ones facing difficulties. But when we talk about it, it opens up a sense of community. Everyone has their own battles, but it's how we support each other through them that really matters.
Exactly. It's all about leaning on the people around you and knowing that it's okay to ask for help. We don't have to go through everything alone. There's always someone willing to listen or lend a hand.
And that's one of the beautiful things about human connection. Even when you feel isolated, There are people who care, who want to see you succeed. It's just about opening up and reaching out when you need it.
It's so important to be vulnerable sometimes, to let people in. I know it can be hard, especially if you're used to handling everything by yourself. But letting others support you is such a strength, not a weakness.
I completely agree. It's such a relief when you can share your struggles with someone who understands. Sometimes, just having someone say, "I get it. You're not alone," can make all the difference in how you approach a problem.
And I think that's where empathy comes in. Being able to really listen and understand where someone else is coming from makes us all stronger. When we practice empathy, we build bridges instead of walls.
Absolutely. Empathy is the foundation of connection. Without it, we can't truly relate to others, and the support system we need just isn't there. It's that shared understanding that makes all the difference.
And in a way, it connects back to what we were talking about earlier: setbacks. When we go through tough times and come out stronger, we can empathize with others who are going through the same struggles. We become more compassionate because we've experienced the pain ourselves.
That's so powerful. Going through hardship teaches us so much, not just about ourselves, but about the people around us. And it makes us want to help others when they face their own struggles.
Right? It's like paying it forward. When you've been helped, you want to help others in return. That's how the cycle of support keeps going. It's a beautiful thing, really.
It is. And sometimes, just being there for someone else can help you heal too. When we offer support, we often find that we grow from the experience as well. It's a mutual exchange of strength.
Exactly. Helping others isn't just about them, it's also about your own personal growth. There's a certain fulfillment that comes from knowing you've made a difference in someone else's life.
And I think that fulfillment gives you energy to face your own challenges. It's like it refuels you, because you're not only growing for yourself, but also for the people around you.
It creates a ripple effect, doesn't it? You help someone and then they go on to help others, and it keeps spreading. The more we invest in others, the more the positivity multiplies.
I love that thought. Imagine if everyone could see the power of that ripple effect. We'd have so much more support and kindness in the world.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be a huge gesture, either. Small acts of kindness, even just listening or offering encouragement, can make a huge difference in someone's life.
It really can. And I think it's important for people to realize that their words and actions matter. Even when they feel small. You never know how much someone needs that encouragement.
And that's why every little effort counts. You might not see the immediate impact, but you're planting seeds. Those seeds will grow, and one day, you'll see the fruits of your kindness, even if it's not always obvious.
It's the same way with personal growth. Sometimes, you don't see your progress day by day. But when you look back after a while, you realize how far you've come.
And that's what makes life so interesting. Every day is a chance to move forward, even if it's just a small step. All those little steps eventually add up to something bigger.
It's a beautiful journey, isn't it? Full of small moments that contribute to something much larger. So, even if things seem tough right now, remember that the journey is still happening, and every step counts.
And if you feel like you're stuck, remember that even the smallest change can start a new chapter. Growth isn't always about making giant leaps. Sometimes it's about making the next right move, no matter how small it might seem.
I think that's a great way to wrap up today's episode, on a note of hope and encouragement. Every step, no matter how small, is part of your growth. And you're doing great, even if you don't always feel it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Sophia. It's always great to dive into these conversations, and I hope our listeners find some comfort and inspiration today.
I'm sure they will. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. And no matter where you are right now, you're moving forward.
Keep pushing, keep growing, and as always, take it one step at a time.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode.
Stay strong, everyone.
You know, Jacob, it's interesting. A lot of times, people think growth only happens when things are going smoothly. But I think we both know that growth often comes from the struggles, the challenges, and the moments when things don't go as planned.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the most growth happens when we're pushed outside our comfort zones. It's not always fun in the moment, but those tough times shape us in ways we don't always realize until much later.
Absolutely. It's almost like we're being shaped by life's challenges, kind of like a sculptor carving away at a block of stone. The process can be rough, but the result is something stronger and more refined.
And even though it's tough, I think we all have a choice in how we approach those challenges. We can either let them define us in a negative way, or we can use them as opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow.
That's such a great perspective. It's all about mindset, isn't it? If we face challenges with a mindset of growth, instead of defeat, we'll start to see them as stepping stones rather than obstacles.
Exactly, it's not about avoiding challenges, it's about learning how to navigate through them and come out stronger on the other side. And that requires patience, perseverance, and a little bit of self-compassion.
Self-compassion is key. So many people are hard on themselves when things go wrong, but the truth is, we're all human, and we all face struggles. Giving yourself the grace to fail and try again is such an important part of the process.
Yeah, and it's important to recognize that failure isn't the end, it's just a part of the journey. Every time we fall, we have the chance to get back up, learn from it, and do better next time.
I love that. It's about reframing failure not as something to be feared, but as a valuable lesson. Each mistake is a chance to adjust your course and move forward with more wisdom.
Exactly. And every time you get back up, you build resilience. It's like strengthening a muscle. The more you face challenges, the stronger you become, not just in your skills, but in your confidence and your ability to handle life's unpredictability.
Resilience is such a powerful trait to have. It allows us to bounce back from anything life throws at us, and it helps us maintain our inner peace, no matter what's going on around us.
And resilience isn't something we're born with, it's something we build over time. Every tough moment we go through is like an opportunity to strengthen that resilience. So the more we face, the more we grow.
That's so true. It's like we have this reservoir of strength that we tap into every time we face adversity. And with each challenge we overcome, we realize just how much we're capable of.
And I think that's one of the most empowering realizations. The more we face our fears and challenges, the more we start to believe in ourselves. It gives us a deeper understanding of our own capabilities.
It really does. And when we start believing in ourselves, it opens up so many doors. We become more willing to take risks, to try new things, and to go after what we truly want in life.
Confidence doesn't come from always being right or having everything figured out. It comes from knowing that we can handle whatever comes our way. It's about trusting ourselves no matter what the outcome might be.
And that's such an important lesson for anyone listening today. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. And even if things aren't perfect, just knowing that you have the strength to keep going makes all the difference.
Exactly, life is never going to be perfect, and we're all going to face setbacks along the way. But the key is to keep moving forward, no matter how slow or uncertain the progress may seem. Every step forward counts.
I think that's a great way to look at it. So, if you're listening right now, remember progress, no matter how small, is still progress. You're moving in the right direction, and that's what truly matters.
And if you ever feel stuck, just take a moment to reflect on how far you've come. Look at the obstacles you've already overcome and remind yourself of the strength you've built along the way. That will give you the motivation to keep going.
What a great reminder. It's easy to get caught up in the big picture. But when you focus on the small victories and acknowledge your growth, it becomes easier to stay motivated.
Exactly. And remember that it's okay to take breaks, too. You don't always have to be on or go. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is give yourself the rest you need to recharge.
Yes, self-care is so important. We often forget that taking time for ourselves is just as essential as pushing forward. A well-rested, recharged person is much more effective than someone who's burnt out.
Totally. And rest doesn't always mean sleep. It could be doing something you enjoy, like reading a book, taking a walk, or simply doing nothing. It's about finding what replenishes you and makes you feel whole again.
Absolutely. And when you're refreshed, you can approach your challenges with a clearer mind and a renewed sense of energy. So don't underestimate the power of taking care of yourself.
That's such an important point, Sophia. Sometimes we get so caught up in the hustle that we forget to slow down and take care of ourselves. But that's when burnout happens. So be kind to yourself and make time for rest.
It's all about balance. And with that balance, we're able to show up as our best selves for the challenges ahead. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. So let's all make a pact today to prioritize our well-being and allow ourselves the grace to grow at our own pace. There's no rush in life.
Well said, Jacob. And to everyone listening, remember that you're doing great, and you're exactly where you need to be on your journey. Keep growing, keep learning, and most importantly, be kind to yourself.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Sophia. Keep moving forward and take it one day at a time.
That's all for today's episode. Thanks for joining us, and remember to like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back with more inspiring conversations. Until next time, take care and keep thriving.
Stay strong, everyone.
And with that, we've come to the end of today's episode. A huge thank you to Jacob for being with us and sharing such valuable insights. And to all of you listening, remember that growth is a journey, not a destination. Keep challenging yourself and embracing every moment along the way.
Thank you so much for having me, Sophia. It's been great talking through these important lessons. Keep pushing forward, everyone.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more episodes filled with inspiration. Until next time, take care, keep growing, and always be kind to yourself. Stay strong, and we'll see you in the next one.